you thought about the fact of talking to the governor and mayors and selectmen or whatever form of government exists in the state about having some of the people who've come here move to those localities, those cities, upstate, or even in the suburbs to
Yes.
find spaces for them?
And it's called a decompression strategy. It is, how do you not overburden one city? How do you spread out this obligation, this national obligation that we have? El Paso is a beautiful city. Visually, it's a beautiful place. That the city was overrun. It was unbelievable how we undermined the foundation of that city as they're grappling, like many of us are, with real problems. And so there must be a national czar. I think it should be done through FEMA. We should treat this the same way we treated any major disaster or major crisis. That should be coordinating with the Border Patrol, coordinating with our cities, our states, to make sure that we as a country absorb this national issue. And that's what I learned when I was on the ground there. The lack of coordination is really causing this to be hit by certain cities.
Mr. Mayor,
Marsha, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Could you send people who are already here, who are overburdening our hotels and stuff, to places upstate where they might be able to find jobs and families to support them and things like that?
Yeah, I actually think it's a win-win, and that's my conversation I have been having with my state leaders. I think it's a win-win. We have many municipalities throughout the entire state that are suffering in population, that are dealing with the need of employees, and that is why it's imperative that the federal government allow people to work. When you think about it, it's unimaginable. We are saying to New York City that the people who come here fleeing persecution in another country, that for 6 months they cannot be employed. I mean, that's just not, that doesn't make common sense. And so I believe if we give the work opportunities, you're going to see a lot of municipalities who are suffering to have workers will allow and have a real partnership to allow people to come to their municipalities. And those are the conversations that we're having.
Mr. Major, following up on that, as far as the jobs, is the government ready to provide them with permits to have a job for 1 year until they can get their asylum in the process? And then number two, the $800 million that the federal government was supposed to give to municipalities, have New York City applied for that?
Yeah, first let's deal with number one. We don't have the authority to allow them to work. That's the federal government must do that. And there's been a universal cry from all of the cities that have been impacted. We have been stating, let's treat this and give the ability to people to be employed. That's crucial. And that's the foundation of why people pursue the American dream, so they can work hard and contribute back to the company and pay taxes. So when it comes down to, is the federal government going to do that? I don't have the answer. I'm going to continue to lift my voice and ask them to do so. The second part of your question?
I mean, the
Yeah, 800 million. I had a conversation with Senator Schumer. We cannot thank Senator Schumer enough and Congressman Jeffries for their advocacy to get the dollars in. We don't know what dollar amount is going to come to New York yet. We're waiting to find out. But let's be clear, even with the infusion of money, it's not going to solve the problem. We must address the problem and have proper coordination, collaboration, and communication so that we could address this crisis that our country is facing right now.